Hey guys, welcome to this quick motivational video. I wanted to take a minute and record a short video about career change. So there are many people out there who are considering, perhaps even you watching, doing a career change, but you're not sure if it's the right thing to do for you, especially if you've been in a certain career for a long time and you're not sure that making the move is the right decision for you. So I'm going to give you some quick tips on things that you should consider before making that career change. It's something that you can definitely do. This is a topic that I know very well because I myself actually made 2 career changes, going from sales to human resources and then from human resources to IT. So I will go ahead and share some tips with you. The first thing you need to consider is setting your goals. What it is that you want to do. Perhaps you are a nurse. For example, you work at a hospital and you want to get out of the nursing field and become, let's say, a human resource professional. Now, you have to set the goal, your short-term goals and your long-term goals. Your short-term goal is the goal that you set to say, I'm going to go from being a nurse to going into HR, and I will do that within 6 months to a year. So that's your short-term goal. And then you need to set a long-term goal that allows you to then progress within that career path that you choose. What I mean by that is, after you've moved to that new career, at some point you'd want to move up higher within that organization, and that's a long-term goal that you have to set. So you have to decide what position you are eyeing within the career that you're moving into for the long term. So that will give you a good idea for where to start. And the second thing you need to consider is to actually understand why it is that you're actually looking to change careers. Because that's important, because it allows you to see if your current situation is something that you can fix quickly. Perhaps you are unhappy at your job and you want to make the switch because someone at the job is making you feel unhappy. And if that is the case, you may not necessarily need to change careers. You could just change a department or get a different supervisor or someone else so that you don't have to work with that person. So that's important to consider. Now, if you've decided that you definitely want to change careers, you need to take a closer look at your skills. You need to make sure that you have the skills and the qualifications for the job that you are trying to move into, the career you're trying to move into. So for instance, if the career that you're moving into requires a master's degree or a bachelor's degree in a certain field, then you would have to make sure you go back to school and get the qualifications. But if it's a job that generally requires only a bachelor's degree, you may be able to get away with your own bachelor's degree because in most jobs, they just want to see that you have a degree, you have that piece of paper, and they will give you the job. But at least make sure that if the job requires certain qualifications and certain skills, you understand what those are. And a quick way to do that is to look for the position that you're trying to apply to. For example, if you're moving from, in my example, or in the example I gave earlier, from nursing to HR, and you want to be a manager, a human resource manager, you may want to go on LinkedIn, for example, and search for human resource manager qualifications, or whatever the job is that you're trying to apply for in the new career. That will give you an idea of what skills you need and what qualifications you need to apply for that job. And you can do some training and understand what you need to be able to move into that job and that career successfully. Another way to gather information about the new career that you're considering is to actually do some informational interviews. You can call up a company and talk to the people who are doing the job and ask them what they had to do to get to where they are. That will give you some very, very good insight in terms of what you need to do to get to where you want to be. Now, when you're changing a career, you may have to start at the lower level of the company for that job because you may not have the experience you need to start at the same level. So that's something that you absolutely must consider. If you're going from, in the example I gave earlier, if you're going from nursing to human resources, it's not going to be necessarily a one-to-one. They are different jobs, different career paths, and they have different requirements. So if you were a registered nurse and you were at a certain level, you had 10, 15, 20 years of experience, and you're going into human resources, you may have to start lower on the human resources side of things because you don't have the experience. So that's something you need to consider. If money is important to you, you may go from nursing to, let's say, human resources and get paid less. So it may be a demotion for you. So that's something you have to consider when you're looking at a different career. And the final tip I'll share about career change is to understand that it's going to take a while before you find the job and actually get to where you want to be. So you're going to have to be very patient because changing careers is not easy. One thing you may have to do is consider taking a temp to hire job, for example, rather than going for a full-time job so you can get in earlier. But if you're considering going from a full-time job to a full-time job and you won't accept anything less than that, it may take you a while to actually get the job in the new career that you're considering. So you need to keep that in mind. You could also consider hiring a temp agency or a headhunter to help you find the job that you want and the job that you need. They can give you some advice in terms of what skills you need to put forward and what you need to put on your resume and how to best market yourself. That's it for this short video. Those are all the tips I had in regards to making a career change. Don't hesitate to check out my blog at umarjeng.com and also my podcast. I actually have a specific episode that goes into more detail about what you need to do to consider making a career change. So check it out on my blog. You will see a podcast link. Until next time, thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.